LinkedIn, we're live. Let's get these two things sorted. Camera, I'm a bit OCD about the camera being square on, and let's get the speed up on this bloody thing, because if I'm gonna rant, rave and talk about stuff, I might as well get some steps in, because this morning, dare I admit it, I didn't do my morning walk. I did a walk, but it wasn't the one I've been doing, so I'm a bit behind for the steps today, having only done about, the last time I looked, only about 1,500 of 16,000. I need to crack on, so let's go. What we're going to cover today is, well, I've just done a consultation. I've got a guy who every month we do a consultation, like coaching call, just so I can answer his questions. He's got kind of a fairly good idea about fitness and stuff, but I'm just answering questions and helping him out. And it's good to see that he is going into December. And bear in mind, we did the first call on the 1st of November, doing a monthly. So he's only just started. So it's not like he's already into the swing of things with his weight loss journey, which makes December easy, because it doesn't. It's only just started. But it's good to see men starting their weight loss journeys now. Had a few new guys come into coaching program in November. So again, these are guys who have said to themselves, I'm not going to wait till January. There's no point. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because what I would like is more of you to start your weight loss journey today or tomorrow, if you see this later, so that you can, over the course of this month, begin to build some better habits, improve your knowledge about things, which is important, and of course drop a few pounds and improve your health before January, so you don't start January, quite frankly, probably a little bit further away from your goals than you are right now. Because let's be honest, most people are going to overdo it over Christmas when they have no real boundaries and they're not being mindful, and they're just thinking about it being, the whole month is just a celebration. People often gain a couple of stone, and then January becomes this, like, for lack of a better term, like a Christmas hangover. And I'm not just talking about from the alcohol. So you have to ask yourself, which one do you want to be? The guy that starts now, or the guy that starts in January? And if you want to start in January, chances are the main reason for that is you don't want to ruin the Christmas holidays. You don't want to be calorie counting on Christmas Day, or maybe the thought of being sober the whole month terrifies you, and you just want to relax and enjoy it, which I completely understand. Me too. Having lost a decent chunk of fat this year over the last several months, probably about 8 months now, I'm looking forward to a bit of a time to kind of unwind a little bit. But I'm still going to carry on with my dieting, and I'm going to do it with one of the things I'm going to talk about today, and that is, how do you deal with Christmas parties, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve? How do you deal with those events in a way that allows you to stay on track and not ruin them, make them boring, essentially? Like, I doubt if I said to anyone watching this, you're going to have to watch what you eat and don't drink at the Christmas party, you'd be like, do one, Phil. Like the guy I just spoke to, just said, like the guy I just done the consultation call with, one of the things we discussed was what days this month are days where he really is, I don't want to say has to, but really wants to just relax, enjoy food, have drinks, whatever. And he realized it was only 4 or 5 days out of the whole month that he was really intending on kind of completely just not worrying about it, which leaves a decent chunk of the month to worry about it and get results. And that's how you get the balance between enjoying the holidays and still making progress. But one of the things he asked was, like, on one of the days, in a couple of weeks, got a Christmas party. How do I kind of enjoy it without kind of wasting, kind of ruining the whole week? And there are a couple of things you can do. If you know how to do this, you will be able to enjoy it and sustain the results. So there are kind of two things you can do. One, you can save calories for that event. So let's say, I mean, Christmas week is a good example. Like, if you really think about it, I've decided that I will just eat and drink, do whatever I want on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then I and ahed about Boxing Day, and I was like, yeah, for me personally, there's no real need to have 3 days in a row where I just kind of eat crap. Two is probably plenty before I start to actually just feel like crap anyway. So Boxing Day we chucked out. So that entire week, Monday, if we think Monday to Sunday, there's only 2 days where I have to worry about it, in a sense. And what I can do now is say to myself, right, those 2 days are going to be the days where I'm going to eat freely and drink, possibly. Not really a big drinker, but, you know, I might have one or two. Then the other days can be very controlled. They can be strict. Dare I say it, they can be quite hard, because I've got the luxury of those 2 good days in the middle of the week. So Monday, I might eat a low calorie day, keep my carbohydrates low, and chances are the couple of days before that will be the same. It might be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then it'll be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, so that Tuesday and Wednesday, then the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, back to eating good, training. Then it's New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So what I'm going to do is, the days around the events, I can just take the calories down a little bit. Don't have to necessarily starve yourself. But what you are basically doing is you are banking calories. You're putting them in the bank to have on Christmas Day. And because you've got a whole month, and really, let's be honest, there aren't that many days that you really have to really go mental, like, you know, in other words, use it as an excuse to binge, then you could easily bank enough calories to deal with those days. One of the things I do now, if I was you, if you are serious about getting in shape, is decide what those days are going to look like. For every one of us, it's going to be, obviously, it's going to be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, possibly Boxing Day. I decided not to worry about that one. And there's obviously going to be New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Then you're going to have maybe 1 or 2, I don't know, work dues. There may be some family things. So figure out what days are going to be the days where you are going to relax and not worry about calories and food choices, and you're just going to let loose a little bit. The other days, you commit to making the calories lower, and that's very simple. You also can, chances are most of people are going to have more time off work over Christmas and New Year. Some of you might finish in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and not go back till January. So there is a little bit more time, possibly. Obviously, there are going to be other stuff to do with Christmas, kids, family. There might be a little bit more time to squeeze in a few extra steps, maybe an extra gym session, just to kind of burn off some of those excess calories that you have consumed or will consume. So make the most of that. And what that does is just gives you balance. You've got calories being low on some days, higher on some days, and the average could be made to be an average that allows you to lose fat. Very easy to do. The other thing you can do is, you can, if you've got something like Christmas Day is probably going to be all day. Let's be honest. Nobody's going to like wake up in the morning on Christmas Day and say, right, the eating starts at lunchtime, or I'm only going to have the meal. I won't be for. I know I won't be. But the other things, like maybe just trips out to Christmas markets, parties, that kind of thing, lunches, will just possibly be certain points of the day. So going back to the guy I just spoke to on that consultation call, he's got the party in the evening. So he was like, okay, cool. The rest of the day, I can make my meals smaller, and I can essentially bunch my calories to that point where I need them. So let's say you have a you have a budget of 2,500 calories for the whole day. But instead of having them frequently, more frequently throughout the day in smaller meals, you might save 1,500 of them for the evening by making the meals prior to the evening smaller. Or that could be you might be even just having a breakfast with your family, or maybe a business lunch that's being done in December. Now, everything I'm talking about here can be applied the rest of the year. All I'm doing is taking a strategy that me and my clients use very successfully and just applying it to Christmas and New Year. But it can be used at any time of the year. So those of you that travel a lot, have business meetings and events and stuff, this is something you could look to kind of learn and get into the habit of doing. And again, all we want really from managing these calories the rest of the week, and I know there'll be people thinking this sounds like too much effort. It really isn't. It's not rocket science. Just eat fewer calories on the days that you're just sitting around, maybe still working, so that you can eat more calories on the days that you need them. Eat fewer calories at the time of the day when you don't need them, so that you can eat more calories at the time of the day when you need them. It really isn't rocket science. It's very, very simple. But what that does really is just allows you to have a bit of freedom with what you can eat and drink, and it just keeps the total calories down. So if we go back to that example of when you got the whole day, let's say you got 2,500 calories, instead of having normal meals at like 500, and then you add on a couple of thousand in the evening. So instead of having 2,500, you end up at 4,000 or 4,500 then, because you haven't moved them and because you haven't saved them from the rest of the week, you end up over. So your average over the course of the month is too high, which what most people will do is end up just eating too many calories as a whole, and that's why they gain weight. A lot of this comes down to mindset, and I had to say this to the guy I just spoke to, and it was kind of a realization for him. He seemed kind of like, not shocked isn't really the right, it was kind of a realization is probably the best way to say it, because he kind of looked at me, he went through his diary while we were on the call on Zoom, and he was like, yeah, actually, Christmas really isn't that many days when I think about it. Had he not done that, or had he not kind of said to himself, right, these are the days that are going to be relaxed, chances are bad eating habits would have crept in across the whole month. Not saying you guys will all just binge the entire month, but all it takes is just to pick on chocolates and biscuits and stuff that are lying around. And again, all it does is over the course of the entire month, the amount you eat just goes up too high. And that all that can happen in those circumstances is that you store body fat. Now, if you don't want to go overly strict, you can just do these things and just to make it so that you're mindful. And I still think that if you did this, you could enjoy all the days that you want to enjoy and get to the end of the month having maintained where you are, which quite frankly, for some of you might be a decent win. If you can go into January no worse off than you are now, for a lot of people, that will be a solid start to the year. But I think if you do this, you'll probably lose some weight. And then you go into January with a little bit less weight, haven't deprived yourself, and this is knowledge of this that you need to use throughout the whole year for the rest of your life. Because if you want to balance fitness and health with your busy lifestyle, home life, social life, etc., then this is something you're going to get used to. You have to get used to doing. And this is one of the things that my clients, once they get used to doing it, it just becomes kind of second nature. You end up with just, okay, I've got a couple of business events next week, a couple of days before, maybe I'll increase my step count a little bit, maybe I'll just drop the calories a little bit, and then I'll go on the business, then I can have some calories to use when I'm away. Works very well. I still think regardless of whether or not you lose or maintain, it is a much better thing to do than go into December and have it in your head that December is the last. Like, it's like, fuck it. I'll deal with this in January, because it doesn't really show yourself that there's an element of commitment to this. If you start now, you are kind of saying to yourself that this is something you want to address, and it kind of comes across as to yourself as being important. So really simple track, a really simple strategy there. Nothing overly fancy. Decide what days you're going to actually decide what you want what days are going to be Christmas celebration days, and then commit to those, or commit to the other days as being days where you control what you're going to eat, how you're going to train, and then you can reduce calories on those days, which essentially save calories for the days you need more. And then for things that aren't all day, like Christmas Day, for example, like a Christmas party that it doesn't start till the evening or the afternoon, just manage the calories on that day as well. Your best bet is to just make all the meals high protein, high veg, high fiber. Basically protein and veg meals, because the calories will be low, they'll keep you full, and then you will go into Christmas parties with more calories to play with. And again, all you are trying to do over the course of the whole month is just balance the intake. If you've got more time on your hands because you're not at work, you need to get out of the house, go for some walks, get some steps in, maybe join the gym, make the most of it before it gets crazy busy, and that'll balance things out. Hope that helps. Like, it's a very simple strategy, but it's exactly what most executives need for Christmas, but not just Christmas, just as a whole. And if you do it, you will find it much easier, not just in December, but in general, to reduce your body fat, improve your health, improve your energy, while not feeling kind of like you're missing out, or from a business point of view, kind of feeling awkward in front of clients and prospects. Hope that helps. And if you want some help with that, you want me to just give you the plan, hold you accountable, and you want to come into a community of other 40 plus male execs, and then just send me a message with the word Christmas, and we'll have a chat, put together an action plan for you, and we'll go from there. Right, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back on tomorrow.